What's up, man? It's Parallax Abstraction, and welcome to PXA Peaks at Welkin Road. We're here today to talk about the thrill of the run, man. It's just you, your body, and the open air, and it's just like all about running fast and climbing over things, and don't ever let anything made by the man stand in your way, you know? And we're just gonna be free, and it's gonna be awesome, bro. You guys see it. How's it going, guys? Yeah, so this is Welkin Road, which is another game I just got a review code for recently. And, well, I gave you that sort of zen hippie intro because that's kind of how this game feels to me. But it's really cool at the same time. So this is a pure parkour traversal game that just came out on Steam. It is in early access. Now, I have a blog post I've been meaning to write talking about how I am basically done with early access and other forms of crowdfunding. That may or may not be up when this video goes up. If the post is up, a little card annotation will appear in the corner there that you can click on. So I have not been buying early access games, but I got a review code for this, and I figured, what the heck, I'll cover it. But this is an early access, so buyer beware with that. If you buy this now, you are buying something that is, by the admission of the developer, not finished, okay? Alright, so what they're planning to do for this game is they only hope to keep it in early access for 4 months. The single player portion is basically done. But what they're hoping to put in later is the ability to race against friends live, view and share replays, race against a ghost, and a level editor with workshop support, which would actually be pretty cool. So I'm going to show you what this is here, but this is a pure parkour challenge game with a very slick, minimal aesthetic. So there's a bunch of different levels here. I have only completed 2 of them so far. There are 11 levels in total. These levels are very long and very complicated, but there's 2 different modes you can play them in. There's exploration, which is you run the levels and you're scored on them, and as you can see, I'm doing rather poorly with them. And there's also speed run, which is a challenge mode that has, as you see, no hints, no score, no secrets. It's just you against the clock, and your goal is to beat the level as fast as possible. So I'm going to show you a little bit about what this looks like. Alright, here we are. The load may be a little bit longer than it looked there. For whatever reason, Unity games cause my recording software to stop recording when there is a static image on the screen. I don't know why. Thanks, Bandicam. Anyway, so yes, this is Welkin Road. So don't be fooled by how simple in concept this may look. This first level is actually the tutorial, and it goes on for like 10 plus minutes. It's kind of, well, 10 plus minutes. It went on way longer than that. What am I saying, 10 plus minutes? It went on for almost half a friggin' hour for me. This game constantly is throwing new mechanics at you. Now, that's not a bad thing. There's actually a lot to this. It is a game about free running, but there's also a whole bunch of other systems and mechanics to this that make it actually very, very complicated and very, very deep. And I say that up front because this may be too much for some people from a challenge perspective. This game is very, very difficult. It's fairly forgiving when you're in this exploration mode. It checkpoints very often, and you can respawn kind of whenever you want. Actually, by just tapping the B key like that, it will take you back to your last checkpoint, and it will do that as well whenever you, well, quote, die. This is a very non-violent game. There's no combat in it. And if you fall to your death, like I'm doing here repeatedly, all you do is respawn, right? You know, this is not a game about killing things. Like, it's even less, like, a lot of people may look at this simple art style that this has and compare this to a game. Oh, man, I'm doing badly there. And they may actually compare this to a game like Mirror's Edge, which is a game that I absolutely love. But even Mirror's Edge has some potential combat in it. There are guards who shoot at you, and you can take their guns from them and shoot at them and everything else. Hold left shift to run. Okay. And you can take their guns from them and shoot them and things like that. So it is a game that still has violence elements in it. This is not like that at all. This is a game, as I said, it's all about the free running, man. And your goal is simply, it's really more of a puzzle game. Your goal is to traverse the levels as fast as you can while making it the fewest number of mistakes that you can. And it's definitely not easy, but it is so very satisfying when you manage to pull it off. When you manage to pull off like a super snazzy run. I don't even remember what I'm supposed to do here. Okay. Oh yes, the wall jump. I'm bad at this. So you might see me fail here a lot. But yeah, you can run along walls, you can push off walls like this and do wall jumps, and you also have these things, which I'm not going to talk about those just yet. I'll show you what happens when we get to that point. But these levels are all very long. Even this first level is quite challenging, and oops, blew that. Okay, you still retain some control when falling or jumping. That's right. There you go. So you see, I have to steer myself around the corner. But the levels get actually really complicated and really devilish in some ways. Like, and much like Mirror's Edge, Mirror's Edge had a lot of levels that were very puzzle-like, where you actually had to kind of pause and look around and go, what am I supposed to do here? And some people didn't like that about Mirror's Edge because they thought it sort of broke the flow of the game and the flow of the parkour that it was trying to encourage you. And yeah, I get that, actually. Oops, I blew that. So one of the moves here is that if you press a key while in the air, you can sort of tuck your legs up and extend your jump that way. In Mirror's Edge, that kind of happened automatically, but in this, it's actually an ability that you have to trigger with a key. So another interesting thing as well, I am playing this with a keyboard and mouse. There is no controller support in this game right now. Now, their early access page doesn't actually say if that's coming or not. It could be done. There are a lot of buttons in this. So yeah, okay, hang on just a second. So you see these things here? That's what these are for. So you have one of these on each of your arms, and they're grapple points. Right? Neat, eh? When you don't screw it up. So yeah, these are grapple points, and you're going to see levels where there are a lot of these. So you have one of these little sort of grapple beam things on each arm. And when you use one, it takes a while to recharge. So you can use them both at once, though there's no benefit to that. But you don't want to. You want to save them, because when you use one, it will take a little while for the other to recharge. And there are periods, even early on in these levels, where you're going to have to swing from one to the other in very rapid succession. And you need to balance out those charges and make sure that you utilize them to their fullest. And it is a really, really, really cool idea. There's no explanation for this. This game has no story. There's no explanation for why it works like this, or why you're even racing in these weird block things above the clouds. It's just a thing, which is fine. I know the games like this don't need story. Not, some people would say that every game needs a story. I very much disagree. But as you can see, there are very heavy physics at play here. So your goal is there's momentum. There's mass, how you flow over these things will be impacted by at what angle you hit them at. If you don't hit them at the proper angle and you don't get the momentum, you won't land properly. There are also the abilities on keys to extend or shrink your beams when you're already connected to them. As you can see here, when you don't screw it up like me, you can actually grab these things and use your momentum. I missed it, but you can sort of use your momentum if you hit them at the right level to actually swing off to the side. And when you're holding on to them, so you're not limited in how long you can actually hold on to these things. So you can actually use your momentum and sort of pendulum your way back and forth across the different grapple points like that, you see. And there we go. Hold myself over that. And you're getting the idea that you have to actually utilize physics very, very carefully, and you really have to, there's very careful timing involved. It's not just about getting, it's not just about scaling walls, it's not just about traversing gaps in a traditional way like you would in Mirror's Edge, because Mirror's Edge was a game that was supposed to be based in a future version of the real world. So it had human characters with things in it that humans would do. In this game, obviously, they took some creative fantasy liberties and allow you to do crazy stuff like that. But man, it can be frustrating to get it down. But when you do, when you get one of those big traversals, it is so satisfying. It is one of the most satisfying. So this is the thing that teaches you how to pull yourself up. It is one of the most satisfying things I've had in a game in a long time, actually, when you manage to pull off a really, really difficult traversal. Like, see, look at that. Yeah, I have to go there. See that thing there? That's where I have to get. And you see we're nowhere near it yet. Yeah, these levels are very, very long. And I think it's very cool. They're not bite-sized challenges. Like, you got to get stuck in here and spend some real time to get through one of these levels. I don't remember what I'm supposed to do here. Maybe there's a hint. That's right. The orb is around the corner. Yoink. Oh, that's so neat. And yeah, for a game that's in early access, like the developer said, the single player portion is basically done, and I would tend to agree. This is very, very polished. It runs buttery smooth on my machine. I can't speak to a lower end system, but I'm on a 970, and it runs like grease lightning, solid 60 frames a second. You know, I am not a frame rate snob like some other famous YouTubers, but this is a game where the responsiveness of a high frame rate is very key to high level play. And yeah, it runs very well. The aesthetic is obviously very minimal, but I really think it's kind of a beautiful game as well. You know, I actually think it benefits from its simplicity. I think it's very nice, and it allows you to keep your focus on what you're doing. So here we go with the little juggle. There we go. Games, you know, puzzle games of this nature, if their aesthetics are too complicated, they can be distracting, right? Like you need to focus on the flow and the feel of the traversal, and if there's too much going on in the world around you, it can be distracting and prevent you from doing, oops, darn it, and sort of prevent you from doing your best. Whereas this looks very nice, but it's these simple sort of pastel colors. You're just up in this sky area. There's no music. I don't know if they're planning more music beyond what was in the main menu or not, but there's no music. It's just you in the world, and you doing whatever. Dang it. And it's just you focused on your task at hand. And I like games that do that. There are games that aim for a minimal aesthetic because that's all the developers have the talent to accomplish. This doesn't feel that way to me. This feels like this developer, and this is largely a single-person team that made this, this to me feels like this developer knew exactly what they were going for, and whoops, I'm gonna go around that way. This feels to me like this developer, yeah, knew exactly what they were going for and what they wanted out of it, and they nailed it. You know, there's a little bit of lens flare. It's kind of hard to see here, but there's actually, there it is, there's like lens flare in the sky. It's just very, it's very pretty in a minimalist sort of IKEA kind of way, I guess you could say, but with actual build quality, unlike what you get from IKEA. So yeah, check this out. This is crazy. So yeah, as I was saying earlier before I got sidetracked, as I so often do, so you see, you have to time this, right? Because if you don't have your things recharged, you're going to get screwed real quick here. Oh, God. Yeah, this game, at least at time of recording, does not have controller support. It could. There's enough... there are a lot of functions in this game, but there's enough buttons on a modern controller to pull it off. So I don't know if that's coming. Maybe due to the rapid movements that are required, and potentially the fact that I don't know if this developer plans to put this on a console or not. Maybe that will never come. But, I mean, with the mouse and keyboard, this plays absolutely fine. So obviously it's a first-person game, so you're controlling your view with the mouse, and you also... these little sort of glove beam things are mapped to the left and right mouse buttons. You just use WASD to control your movement, and by default... the left shift key runs, the left control key ducks and also pulls your legs up in a jump. And there's other keys as well. I believe it's Q and E and Y and C or something like that to extend or retract your different arm beams. All of that stuff is rebindable, of course, so if you prefer to play another way, you absolutely can. Only thing I could see being maybe a problem about this game, though maybe not, I can't speak to it myself, is due to the aesthetic, there might be issues for some colorblind individuals. I'm not sure about that. Like, I can't really speak to color blindness myself because I don't have it, but that might be a thing because the levels, there is very high contrast as well. And as I understand it, for many colorblind people, as long as there is contrast between the colors so that you can distinguish sort of one jumpable platform from the other, then that's not an issue. But that may be fair warning as well. Thankfully, we do have Steam refunds now, so if that is a problem for you, you could obviously just refund the game. But yeah, at the moment, this is a single-player experience. My goal when covering early access games on PXA Peaks is to kind of do like what Giant Bomb does with their Unfinished series, which is cover games in early access, maybe cover them some more if they get a significant revision later, and hopefully do a little bit of updated coverage when the final product comes out. So if this game, as the developers say, will be in early access for, you know, up to 4 months, and when it comes out we'll have full online support, then I'll do another video to talk about the online, because having the ability to race against other people, and especially being able to play the levels that some friggin' sadists will come up with the level editor and Steam Workshop support. Like, this game could be so cool with user-made content. I think that would be amazing. But yeah, don't let the 11 level count put you off, because, I mean, this video's up to 15 minutes already, and I'm not even through this first tutorial level yet. And I beat the second level, but it was a lot harder, and I started the third level last night and was just like, nah, this gets really, really tough, and this will keep you engaged for a very long time with only those 11 levels. And of course, there's the speedrun mode as well, which is basically the same thing, except it's just you and a timer. I cannot wait to see what the Speedruns Live and Games Done Quick community is going to do with this game. I kind of hope this game is at Summer Games Done Quick this year, because, man, this would be some incredible things to watch. Watching people do super fast, perfect runs of these levels would just be, that would be delicious. And because they wouldn't be playing like this. But, you know. So, oh, it looks like it decided to let me traverse, or maybe not. So the purpose of this section here in the tutorial is actually to teach you about hitting the grapple orbs at proper points in momentum, so that you actually get the swing you need. Because if you grab one from when you're too high up, it will actually slow you down, because you have to gravity will pull you towards it. So what you actually want to do in a situation like this is you want to jump off. Not be a total failbot like me. You want to jump off, attempt to grab it either below it or at least when you're on the same plane as it, and then use that momentum to kick you forward, but you're still going to screw it up. So as you can see, this is really challenging. Now, you've been seeing maybe the little F1 prompts appearing in the left corner. This game will tutorialize you as you go along. I've already done this. So there are also, in later levels, there are green orbs, which when you collect them will actually alter something in the world. So sometimes the orbs move, sometimes they make a platform move. So they're actually required to use, and you sometimes have to time jumps with them so that you're going to hold on to them for a certain period of time and then jump off afterwards. Like I said, they get really devilish, but they're really nicely designed levels, and they provide a real amount of challenge, and like I said, just incredible satisfaction when you manage to get a really good flow completed and get through multiple stages without messing anything up. It's just, there's few feelings like that. So let's see if we can get to the end here. I will probably at best score a C again, which is what I got yesterday. Come on, Parallax, you can do this. Get it right, 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 get... Nope. This took me a while yesterday, too. Whoop! There we go. Ding! Alright. So let's go in here, and we just hit this thing, and you get pulled up into parkour heaven. Hey, I got to a B, and I got an achievement called Live and Learn. Improve your score. Nice. Nice. I like that. I like achievements like that. All right, so let's go check out another one here. All right, so here's the third level. So yeah, so you see the little color aesthetic is different between every one. So this one I barely touched last night because I just, like, look at this. Look at this. Like, look at the size of this structure that I have to, like, the thing is all the way over there, but you have to start going this way. Like, it's nutso. All right, so let's go. So there's even momentum, like it even takes your character a little bit of time to get up to full speed. So if you want to take a run at something, you actually have to make sure to give yourself the proper time to do it. Because if you don't take long enough, you actually won't get the momentum you need. Like, this game is all about real world physics. Okay, this one's different. Hang on. Oh, wow. The blue orb loses energy after a period of time disconnecting grapple beam. So this is even more devilish. So basically, if you grab this, you don't actually have time to mess about with it and get your momentum tuned right because you only have seconds to use it. That's mean. Oh, this is gonna be rough. But yeah, like I tend to get frustrated very easily at, I mean, I'm not good at puzzle games, right? Like I always respect puzzle games, but I don't tend to play many of them because I'm just not very good at them. And I tend, like, I love Mirror's Edge. I think Mirror's Edge is one of the best games of the last generation. But at the same time, when you got stuck on a jumping puzzle in that game, you would just feel so incredibly frustrated, not because the game was bad or because you didn't like the game, but because you felt stupid. Like, oh, I see, I screwed that up too. And that was the big problem, is that, like, when I was doing that, like, I got mad not because Mirror's Edge was bad, but because I was mad at myself for not being good at it. So here's one of the green ones. Oh, did I just find a secret? Hidden no longer. I did. That's so cool. So yeah, there are actually secrets in these levels as well. I didn't mention that. There are places in the levels that you can get to that you're not really supposed to get to. And if you can do that, there are secrets, and that will improve your score as well. And I got an achievement for that one right there. So that was actually the first secret I managed to find at this point. Some of them are very, very tough to get to. Like, and yeah, if you get to them, it's probably going to be because of dumb luck, which is what happened to me right there. Oh god, that thing moves. Oh jeez. So yeah, but you get the idea here. Oh, momentum. Oh man, that was, oh, so rad. But yeah, like, the thing that I love about this game is, and this is something I said about Leap of Fate as well, is that it flows really well. It moves quick, you know, when it checkpoints frequently, at least in this exploration mode. So when you die, you're not going back very far. Oh jeez. You're not doing the same thing, you know, you're not retraversing the same sections. Like, the punishment for failure is actually the punishment for failure is actually fairly light. And so you don't feel really bad for failing. Oh, jeez. You don't feel really bad for failing, but at the same time, you feel so good when you succeed. Oh, good God. Oh, yeah. I tell you what, like, I am not one of those people who likes to say with every friggin' game, oh man, this would be so cool in VR. But this actually would probably be pretty rad in VR, though I suspect it would make many people puke up their entire insides with this momentum. But this would be a pretty neat thing in VR, at least if you had something like the Vive controllers to manage things with. I think that would... Can't use the left one twice there, Parallax. Yeah, if you had something like the Vive controllers, I think that would be really cool as well. But yeah, I really like this. Like, it's a puzzle game I really enjoy, and I love parkour done well. Doing parkour in video games is not an easy thing, and they did it here, and they did it really well. They focused more on the systems than the aesthetic, and the aesthetic isn't bad, like, far from it. I think this game actually is very beautiful, like I said, in a sort of minimalist kind of way. But that's, you know, that aesthetic is not what... Oh, there's another secret. Can I do it? No, I can't. But that aesthetic is clearly not where they put their effort. They put their effort into making really, really solid systems and really excellent traversal. Dang it. And they did that first, and then they decided to wrap that in a minimal aesthetic that's pretty, but also very, very basic. And it just... No, I'm not getting that. But it all gels together super well. And, like I said, don't let the level count fool you, because these levels are very long and they're very tough. And when they add in the ability for users to make their own levels, and if they can actually add in online play where you can race against people live, and especially against people's ghosts, that will make for a very, very compelling package. And I think it's going to be, really something, impressive when they manage to do it. So, but for an early access game, I have to say this is in very good shape already. You know, there are early access games that come out that are friggin' barely anything. Like, that basically don't have any features in them, and that are bug-ridden messes, and like I said, are barely games. This is already a very good game, and at what the developer said is that the work is mostly done. They just want to get some community feedback to make sure things are tuned well, and they want a little bit of extra money so that they can add in the multiplayer features that they know people wanted, but that they, I guess, either didn't have the time or resources to do on their own, which is perfectly cool. I appreciate that. They've also said as well that the game, while it's in early access, may very well end up being, is probably going to be a little bit cheaper than it will be on launch, which is something else I also appreciate. Far too many developers don't reward players for early access. They're like, hey, pay the same price everybody's going to pay on launch, even though you're paying for an incomplete game, and we're doing it this way because we want feedback and early funding. Like, they don't reward people for buying in when the game is not done yet. These guys have said that the game will probably be a little bit more expensive on launch, so you get that little bonus of pitching in when it's early, and you get a pretty good experience out the gate. So yeah, if you like parkour in games, and especially if you like puzzle games like this, if this at all looks appealing to you, I understand if it doesn't. This type of game is not for everyone. But if this game looks at all appealing to you, I would definitely check it out. If you are someone who, like me, is just taking a hard line on early access, that's totally understandable. But it's probably coming out soon, and when it does, it'll be even better. So I really like this, and I'm really glad I got a chance to play it, and I think more people should. So I hope it does well, and it's something unique and different, and we need more of that stuff. So yeah, definitely check this out. So yeah, that is Welkin Road, developed by, I think it's Gregor Panic. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that. I hope I'm getting it right. But Gregor Panic, and published by Nikidu Games. It is on Steam on PC, presently in early access for $10 or your regional equivalent. I think it's $13 Canadian. Damn good deal for what's in it, if you ask me. And yes, this is early access. When the final game comes out, I probably will do another video just highlighting the features that are new. I won't recover the entire game again, but I probably will do something that covers covers what's new in it. And we'll do that. But yeah, I really like this, and I think it's certainly worth checking out. There's not enough parkour these days, and even less of it that's well done. My name is Parallax Abstraction. Thank you all very much for watching. If you liked what you saw here, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. That does help me out a great deal. And, well, I'll see you guys next time. I am going to become one with the sky. Take it easy, everybody.